I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to come over to Europe for your holidays, or maybe even to live here, or if you're thinking, why is everything so expensive in America in comparison to Europe, then you are at the right channel. Because in this channel, we take a look at the comparison of life and living, the cost of life and living in America versus the cost of life and living in Europe or the Netherlands. And for today, we're going to take a look at a reaction, not a reaction, to take a look at live take two from far right to Democrat. And that's what I'm wondering was about, because I did a video recently about a daughter explaining to her dad what was happening to this bill, and dad was completely ignoring her daughter, his daughter, and giving her critical, and was totally off. And I think, what it's your daughter, she's trying to tell you something. It's not telling, but yeah. So I wonder, where is this coming from? What is MAGA coming from? How is it possible that someone like Trump can be the president with MAGA? And I hope that she can explain to me what's happening and how this could happen in the United States. So this is the introduction from MAGA to Democrat, from far right to Democrat. I'm curious. Let's take a look.
I'm a former MAGA mommy, and that's really hard to say. I haven't talked about politics for the entire 6 years that I've been on social media, and
okay.
I just decided a couple weeks ago to post my very first Democratic event that I've ever gone to. It was a town hall with Cory Booker, Mark Kelly, Gabby Giffords here in my hometown in Arizona. And I'll tell you, even posting that video was one of the most agonizing things that I've ever done, because it's really embarrassing. I am an outspoken global women's rights activist.
Global women's rights activist. Global women's rights activist. Okay.
I am an outspoken ex-Mormon,
Ex-Mormon,
Christian deconstructionist, and it was really hard to go back to that space where Donald Trump was literally my Facebook profile picture. At the time when
Facebook profile picture. Okay.
I would literally get on my knees in the morning and pray for President Trump in his first term. But
not even in a million times, for $1 million, I would do that. Going on my knees and pray for.
I did it. And now that I've kind of ripped off that Band-Aid, I feel like I can talk about some more things from my former MAGA life. So let's go. I feel like this is the ultimate life take two.
Ready on the set?
Okay. So she did already a video about it.
Let's try this again.
I'm Jenny Gage, and this is Life Take Two. Thanks for watching. I don't have a script or anything. Today, I just want to answer some of the questions to comments on my video about leaving my party. And one question that seems to come up a lot is, why was I ever part of the ultra-right to begin with? And the easy answer is just, I was raised in a church community that everybody voted that way and everybody was that way. But at a certain point as an adult, I did have a buy-in, and I was very emotionally connected to what back then was just an ultra-right Republican movement, and then eventually would become Trump and make America great again. And there's reasons for that buy-in. And I have to admit right off the bat, and this is really embarrassing, that I was just really uneducated and really ignorant. I only went to
Uneducated and ignorant. She's admitting it. Brave. Online, social media. Wow. But back up. She was in a community, in a church-like community, and everybody was voting for Republican. So she does too, because if everyone else does it, why don't you? You won't be the exception on. But that's the problem in America, is that you have only two parties, left or right, or let's say Republican or Democrats. There is, how do you call him? How you call them in between? No, not in between, but yeah, I forget it, but I will come back on it. And that's the only two choices you have. Over here in the Netherlands and other countries in Europe, you have multiple parties you can vote for who come closer to what you think that is good for you and for the nation. Not only A or B, black or white.
college for a couple years. I met my husband at age 19. I was a little church tradwife by the time I was 20. And I really didn't know anything about anything. I didn't understand much about politics, despite the fact that I had taken a semester of political science at my Mormon junior college. That's probably
Mormon Junior College. Doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, junior college, but I cannot associate what Mormon means in this context. It's a religion, but how? I don't know. But being 20 and then married and then
big part of the problem right there. I knew nothing about politics. I knew nothing about the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. I knew almost nothing about our Constitution. I spent more time reading the Book of Mormon, the Bible, going to church, listening to church music, and Rush Limbaugh and Fox News and stuff like that than I did actually studying anything that would have taught me. So my lack of education was a big foundation for really everything. And to me, who I voted for and the passion that I threw into being part of the MAGA movement boiled down to just two things. It's just
wait. Before we go into those two, that's I saw another video that's about it. It's a lot of people behind Trump does not know how politics works or how economics works, or have because of cost never followed any decent education, and that's the Trump followers group. It's I love dumb people, I heard Trump say, because dumb people are easy to manipulate with a lot of campaign slogans, and then they vote for you if you throw a lot of money into it. So, yeah, I get it, but that doesn't mean that the Democrats are all smart people. But what she is, yeah, I hope she learned.
just as simple as this: murdering babies and letting gay people get married. I believe deeply with every cell in my body that one of the biggest commandments was not to murder people. And that if our country had on its law books that you could legally kill a baby by having an abortion, that God would take his blessings away from the earth, and that would just
Okay, the discussion about abortion. I do not know all the answer. I'm not a medical doctor or anything, but as far as I know, abortion within the 3 or 4 first weeks is not killing a human being, is removing cells from your body. That's the difference, as far as I know. And on the other hand, some people, especially, especially, it's only women. When women get raped or get done something horrible to her, and they have to live with the consequences every day, looking at a kid that is the living, yeah, people don't want to do this. So I get it why abortion is necessary for a lot of people. It's not the easy, it should not be as easy, but under certain circumstances, it should be possible. But saying no because it's killing a baby, no, it's not. It's not killing a baby. But she didn't know.
Just to open our country up to like Armageddon and everything that was going to happen in the end times. The Mormon family
Yeah, she thought, oh, if we're going to do this, we open up hell on earth. So we don't. Yeah, oh, brainwashed, indoctrinated from the beginning, from young age.
proclamation teaches that there will be calamities that come on America, on this North American continent, on the United States itself, if we do not protect families and protect life. So I saw it as a religious responsibility to protect life. And to me, that meant making sure that abortion was not legal, that nobody had access to abortion. What's
And that's why she voted for Trump.
interesting, though, is that I didn't have a problem with death penalties. Never once did I ever jump on a bandwagon to make sure that prisoners couldn't be executed for their crimes. I also didn't necessarily have a problem with Dr. Kevorkian when he was in the news a lot.
Dr. Kevorkian? I don't know who Dr. Kevorkian is.
It felt in a way like it was more kind to let somebody who had a terminal disease pass away on
euthanasia. Oh. Oh, yeah. No moral conflict over there with death penalty and euthanasia, but a moral conflict when killing a baby. Okay, she's honest.
their own terms rather than suffering through a prolonged illness with a lot of pain. I supported the military. I was really big into the military because I knew that Satan was out there fighting against God's country, the United States. And so I was completely fine with our soldiers going out there into the world and ending people's lives. But over my dead body.
Oh, yeah. The American bubble. Yeah. She came from. It's not anymore. She's talking about the past 7 years ago. Ah. Oh my. If every mega person is like she was.
Body was a newly fertilized embryo, one of God's spirit children who is just coming to earth in its mother's womb, be destroyed. I should have said at the beginning of this video, you guys, please be gentle on me in the comments because it is really hard to be vulnerable and talk about my old life. I've done a lot to change. I was deeply indoctrinated in this community from birth, and I just didn't know better. And now that I do everything that I can to make sure that nobody else falls into this mindset. I'm trying to stop the hate. So don't.
Yeah. Respect. She has to respect what she's trying to do. And oh, and people in America are ruthless. Why? She's coming clean. She's telling where she's coming from. She's doing a confession, really, if we stay in the religion type, telling about us. So why should you be hateful in the comments or something? She earns the respect of mine, and she's really getting emotional here, and I can't have it.
Don't hate on me for sharing what I felt and thought. And then gay marriage was.
You see the tears getting up in her eyes. It's not good.
My next big issue. And it's funny that that was such an issue in my religious community. Like homosexuality was the curse that was going to bring about the end days and the complete destruction of society, when really the LGBT community is so small. It's not like humans are going to go extinct because of lesbians. And let's say homosexuality was a sin. It's a sin without a victim. In my own religious community, there is a huge number of leaders perpetrating crimes against children. My own family and myself personally were impacted, and I don't want to talk about it, by horrible men who did horrible things. I personally.
Wow. Ooh, ooh. She's reeling, telling it. This is a heavy one. Wow. This is not a woman who says, I was a mega and I'm not, but she has a hard life behind her. Wow.
Was the victim of domestic violence, a
Yeah.
church-going heterosexual man who harmed me and our children and our pets, or anyone he
Our children, or her, yeah, okay, so not her children, but I hope not her children.
could get his hands on or have power over for 2.5 decades. I didn't put any of my personal energy into fighting against people who were committing sins that actually had real life victims whose lives were being destroyed. The only sin that I cared about stopping was homosexuality. I was taught at church from the time that I was a child that AIDS was a curse from God because his children had been gay. So I would watch stories on the news.
AIDS is a curse of God because you should not be gay. Yeah, she's indoctrinated from the church. Thinking about it,
Of children in Africa during this widespread AIDS epidemic, and it would just horrify me. And I would think, we have to stop homosexuality. And if my vote can help stop this curse from God, then by George, I will vote. And it's interesting to me now.
Oh, yeah. She didn't know. She didn't know. Uneducated. And not knowing how the world works. What's outside the church community, how it's going. Yeah. Wow. And now she came back. She flipped. I want to know
How the Republican Party has just packaged itself in those two items, abortion and gay marriage. And the first thing Donald Trump does when he gets into office is illegalize trans athletes and make sure that Roe v. Wade is not coming back anytime soon. And I honestly think that the only reason why the Republicans cling to being the anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ party is that they know that most of their base is the church people like me who were brainwashed to think that those were the only two issues that mattered. And to be honest,
yeah, I think so. That's not the only community, the religious community, where Republicans are feeding on, but it's a large.
If somebody had asked me what it meant to be a Republican, I would have just said that. You know, we're anti-abortion, we're anti-gay.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's kind of this general party vibe of America and the military and the flag and families and big trucks. But I knew absolutely nothing about any policies. And I really didn't until I left my religious life at age 44. And what's interesting, though, is that
At age 40, she left at age 44. And she's talking about it 6 years or 7 years now. 6 years, so 40. She's 51. Oh no. Oh. She doesn't look a year older than 35, 30 to 35. Never 51 or 50.
So when I left the Mormon church and then left Christianity 4.5 years later, I hadn't really looked into politics or deconstructed my party at all. I still sort of felt in a lot of ways that the Republican Party was still my home. But then
4.5 years later. Yeah. 40, 44. Yeah. Okay. She is around 50 now, but I never gave her.
thankfully, in the middle of me feeling like I could just hide and never have to address politics, we had a big election. And this election made me, for the first time in my life, actually look at what political parties stood for and what candidates stood for. As an atheist and a woman, I simply don't believe that abortion is wrong. I think that in a lot of cases, it can be warranted, it can be beneficial. I think that there are more ways to destroy a life than just to have an abortion. And I have seen firsthand lives that were destroyed by unwanted pregnancies. Add to that the fact that I
By unwanted pregnancies. Yeah, that's why this abortion is. But she was looking at politics. She started to do some critical thinking, looking at what parties had to offer. Yeah.
left the Mormon church because of their policies about the LGBTQ, because I could no longer just be a hater. I think that that was the biggest underlying shift in everything. I had spent my whole entire life steeped in this community that was just hate and fear all the time. And after a while, that just makes almost every cell in your body want to explode. And I just couldn't do that anymore. I wanted to live my life in peace and love and community with other people. I didn't want to spend my whole entire life judging and hating everybody. So knowing that, yes, I do support abortion and I do support LGBTQ rights, but also realizing that my party cannot necessarily just be based on those two issues anymore. There are such broader things that impact our nation. I just started diving into politics. And as I read what the Republican platform was and what the Democratic platform was, it literally just shook me, because all of these things are
Okay, she's reading up now something.
my core values, like
My core
equity and
value.
justice for all, strong social safety net, government is a tool for public good, workers' rights, union support, inclusive democracy, voting rights. Some of the key democratic policies, like healthcare, like Obama healthcare, is the only reason why I've been able to get the medical care that I've had the past couple of years. Protecting and expanding the Affordable Care Act, lowering prescription drug prices, reproductive healthcare access, including abortion rights, the climate, expanding public education, funding and early childhood education, reducing student loan burdens, raising the minimum wage, taxing the wealthy and corporations fairly, investing in infrastructure innovation, clean energy jobs, everything around social justice and civil rights, combating racism, sexism, LGBTQ, and then the basic needs of every citizen of this country, expanding affordable housing and fighting homelessness, protecting renters and first-time homebuyers, investing in historically excluded communities, and curtailing some of the access to guns in this country.
Yeah. Oh, especially the Second Amendment is a hot topic, always, every time. But all the other topics, it's good. It's good for the community. It's good for the democracy. That's what the Democrats do. But if I think from my perspective, how it goes over here in the Netherlands, and most of the time the rest of Europe, but talking about the Netherlands, is somebody says, some party, political party says, we want to have better, higher minimum wages, better prices for the rent, better healthcare, but then somebody else shouts, and who's going to pay for it? So you're gonna want to have a lot for your public, for your people, your citizens. But on the other hand, is where is the money coming from? So this is enough from all the taxes that you get in to pay everything what you want. Yeah, except for higher minimum wage. That's a part of course, the companies that has to pay higher minimum wage. But where is it? Where's the money coming from? I hear them shouting, "Yeah, how are you going to pay for all of it?" But the intent is good. It sounds solid. Why didn't anyone? Why didn't everyone voted for the Democrats? Because of some dumbass. Oh, sorry, people.
Whatever that looks like with gun reform, as I actually dug deep into what the Democratic Party stood for, I realized two things. First of all, I had never even known what a political platform was. I didn't know what political parties stood for outside of abortion and gay rights. And I realized that I'm not a Republican at all and probably never was.
Yeah, then she actually starting to do critical thinking and looking at parties and yeah, platforms, getting information and making up her own mind if she goes for one side or the other. She's doing good for the first time in her life, and she realized it.
But I simply wasn't educated enough to know anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And once I became educated a little bit, I jumped completely out of MAGA, jumped out of the Republican Party. I landed for a little while in this weird space with Robert Kennedy because he felt like a neutral spot. But then I decided, no, I'm over here.
The independent. I know it. The independent party. But it's not really a party. Sorry, my dear.
Spot. But then I decided, no, I'm over here. I am squarely in the Democratic House. And I do want to say that it's hard to just dig on the surface and not go even deeper than that. So as I dug a little bit deeper, I eventually realized that I'm actually an anarchist and I want to give the land back to the indigenous populations. And I think that we should break into smaller city states, whatever that looks like, respecting the boundaries of those original indigenous populations. I'm kind of just waiting for it all to collapse so that we can start over in a more eco-friendly matriarchy that's more respective of the First Nations.
Wow. I have to listen to this again because I not fully comprehend this what she's saying. Smaller cities respecting the original inhabitants of the Americas, of the United States, not Americas, but of the United States, smaller cities, smaller states, and then what?
Matriarchy that's more respective of the First Nations.
Matriarchy.
So the Democratic Party is not my new obsession. It's just, I think, the best option for the system that we're currently living in. Who knew? And who knew? I had absolutely no idea because sticking my nose in the Bible all day long really didn't inform me about anything in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She couldn't help it. And she's one of, I guess, millions of people who do this. And that's the base for everyone who's voting for Republicans, and in this case for Trump. And the other half of the voters is just stupid, staying stupid, and never learned anything and don't want to learn something. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Once again, please be
Yeah, you're welcome. Wow.
kind. I am still in the process of deconstructing and learning after a lifetime in this system.
Respect, girl, I would say, but respect, woman. Respect. You're doing this? Wow. No hate from me. Only respect.
And I'd love to hear more questions in the comments. I'll try to do some more Q&A videos like this. Bye.
Wow. This was one. This was more than a lady talking from how she came from far right to becoming a Democrat. She was talking about a lot of stuff. She was unloading a lot of, how do you call it? Memories, bad experiences that has nothing to do with being a Democrat or a MAGA, but just having such a controlled life. Wow. Respect. Nothing else but respect for this woman. Wow. Oh, well, thank you for watching. And if you want to see more of my videos, then this is a good place to start with. And otherwise, it would mean the world to me if you hit the subscribe button, so we can make the algorithm know that a lot of people like this video too. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.